creativity, which leads and expands your business to other regions or other customers. And so that's why we always put focus on creativity.
Hello, everybody. We're excited to be joined today by Tomas from Virtual 3D Studios in Milwaukee. He's going to talk to us a little bit about their business that they have there, as well as an office that they have in Chile. So anyway, we're excited to hear from Tomas and some of the insights that he is able to provide. So thanks so much for joining us today, Tomas.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No problem. Well, to go ahead and get started, Tomas, we'd love to hear a little bit about Virtual 3D Studios and kind of some of the current customers that you guys are focusing on. Maybe just tell us a little bit about maybe how you got started in your business and where you're currently focusing.
So I got started back in 2015 or 2016 with the Matterpod 1, the first Matterpod, the big camera, and then it was actually a friend that from college, and he said, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called Matterpod?" We were on a coffee break, and he was into real estate, and then he showed me that technology. He wanted to apply it for real estate, and then I saw like a business opportunity, maybe having other things done in 3D. And then he wasn't interested at all, and then I went on and bought the camera, the first one. And then I just started, doing real estate, but also immersing myself in different areas. Just, went into a restaurant and say, "Hey, can I do this for free? This is new. So have it for you afterwards." Coffee shops or different stuff. And then I started just building the business up from different market businesses. So it was pretty fun just to see how it's a very versatile tool that you can use all around. So then we started doing cars, car dealerships, museums, art galleries, and all that we do today with the Matterport 1, the first one. Pretty slow scanning. It was different at that time. But yeah, that's how we got started.
Was this in Milwaukee that you got started, or was this in Chile?
No, yeah, I'm originally from Chile, and I live in Milwaukee now. So this year we started expanding to the U.S. And in Chile we have different type of clients in different countries of South America that use. Today we have more than Matterport, but we have a lot of tools that engage in 360 technology, just as we did with Matterport in the beginning. So that goes from construction companies to government agencies, colleges. We have a lot of customers, and then we also innovated in different areas that were not covered in the beginning. So as I said, for example, car dealerships back in the day, they didn't have anything like this. They just had regular photos, regular videos. And so there was a time where we tried to just plant the seed in there and just trying to do a lot of work to get the product out there and reach new markets.
Yeah, that's incredible. You mentioned that you've done 3D tours for restaurants, coffee shops, some car dealerships. You mentioned a bunch of different customer types, if you will. And my question for you is, what advice would you have for somebody who's trying to expand outside of real estate and land more of these different types of customers? When you go approach them, how do you sell some type of service to them? What's the easiest way to get your foot in the door?
Good question. It's curious to me because the technology is right now Matterport is a great tool, for real estate, but also for other markets. So if you're really into the real estate market, and I know there's some guys out there that have the real estate market really accurately with, they have videos and they have the Matterport, the dollhouse is now something that they value a lot. But then just trying new things. I think that's most important issue, having in mind that if you want to grow the business, of course, and add value to different market niches, I think that's the way to go. Just grab your Matterport camera. If there's a new showroom in town that just opened up, just go and say, hey, can I do this for free? This is something that I would love to explore. And then it's just getting to know the business, the new business that you want to target, and then creating something for them. So
Totally.
it's like that kind of conversation that you have with the owner, with the manager. Hey, I want to give this to you as a gift. But yeah, I think that's the way.
I think with Matterport technology, virtual tours in general, it's difficult to explain in writing form some type of proposition. And so I think, like you mentioned, just take your camera and go to the showroom and offer to do something for them for free. I think that's a great way to go about it. When you have done this in the past and you show up, who do you usually try and talk to, and what do you normally try and say to them to get them to allow you to create a 3D tour of this new showroom, for example?
Yeah, if it's a small company and you can reach the owner, it's always good to reach the owner because he or she will see the value into it. If not, I will always go into sales or marketing.
Interesting.
And then if you want to step a little bit more complex, but I think there's a lot of value in operations. If it's a big company, you could say, hey, you could use this for training or mapping out the tour for your employees. That way, it would make a lot of sense to them that they're all into operations, to have something that they're going to have to use for, a purpose.
Yeah. Do you normally take some kind of iPad with you to show them how a Matterport tour works and show them maybe some tours that you've done for other clients, or how do you go about trying to explain to them what the end product will look like?
I back in the day, I used a lot the iPad and just walking into places, just showing them what we could do. Of course, I always try to understand their business before I walked in the door, and have some 3D model under my arm that could relate to their business. But then today, and after the pandemic, a virtual demo as we're speaking right now and showing them on the screen could be a way to enter, more easily. So, but if it goes both ways, I think the one-on-one relation in your local neighborhood or local area is important, but also, the technology today gives us opportunity to go, worldwide. So,
Totally. No, I agree with you. You mentioned that you kind of started with a customer base in Chile, and now you've expanded to Milwaukee. I know there are a lot of people out there who are just getting started creating Matterport tours or 360 services in general. What advice would you have for somebody who's just starting out, maybe a one-man team that's looking to expand and grow and land new clients?
I think it's for me, and this is my personal opinion, and this is what, with the rest of the team we've discussed. I think that there are two factors in growing your business. One is just technology, of course. Matterport has launched new cameras, new technologies. I've seen it for the past 7 years. But, kind of talking in the way of anything, anyone could get hands on that camera or that new technology today. You just need a credit card and just buy the camera. But then there's the other part, which I think, in personal opinion, which is creativity, which leads and expands your business to other regions or other customers. And so that's why we always put focus on creativity. And by creativity, I say, just getting your Matterport camera, close to a beach, not under the water, but just experiment, just do experimentation all day, and try to really capture new things. Not only the business, but try to explore new ways in which you can showcase the 3D. And so when you have creativity in your business and you want to sell that, I believe it's a big way forward to obtaining new clients.
Yeah. When you go show up to some type of new customer that you're maybe trying to sell, if you have at your disposal, 50 different scans showcasing your creativity of different ways that Matterport can be applied to whatever type of business that the person that you're approaching is involved in, it's almost like you're creating a sales tool, or you're adding scans to your kit that you can eventually open up and say, hey, we created this scan for so and so, and it's kind of similar in the fact that it's doing X, Y, and Z type of a thing. So I think that's a really cool way to look at it, where you're trying to be creative in the applications of the technology, so that when you are trying to sell a potential client or a new customer, you can lean on some of those scans that maybe you created for free, maybe you made no money at all, and you act like, oh yeah, we created this tour for so-and-so, but really it was just kind of a test that you did for free. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just kind of a tool in your tool belt that you can pull out when needed. So I think that's awesome.
And also, yeah, it's a good point. And also, it's a tool for yourself. Practicing marketing and sales is not easy. You got to walk in there and sell your product. It's a training for yourself as well. So you just win. It's a win-win situation.
Totally.
And then we've always focused as well from the beginning in creating, just going into brands. So that's another advice that I could give you guys out there. Just look for brands that could actually be useful for your portfolio. If you go on real estate, you can do a big mansion, and that's fine. But then if you go into a new kind of modern looking restaurant in your town, maybe that's great as well, and then you can pick it up from there. Yeah,
totally. One other question that I have in mind, Tomas, is what are some of the struggles that you're currently seeing with creating virtual tours and trying to land new clients? What's the biggest thing that you're trying to figure out and solve right now?
Yeah, right now we're having this challenge where we're trying to reach more leads, more potential customers that actually don't know that Matterport or other 360 technologies exist out there, and we can provide them with a solution for them. So we get a lot of leads from Google Ads. I think we're very well positioned, but then the lead from Google Ad already knows they're looking for a virtual tour or a 360 video. So then we're trying to get out to outbound sale customers that don't know this exists or it could be useful for them. So that's a big challenge because we need to educate new markets into the benefits of all this. So yeah.
So what you're saying, it's essentially a two-pronged approach, because you've got to try and take advantage of people who are Google searching for virtual tours. They already know what the technology is and they're trying to find a provider like yourself. But also there's a huge opportunity with people who have no clue what a 3D virtual tour and the benefits that it could be for their business. So there's an education piece to it as well. And so what are you guys trying to do on the education side as far as trying to teach people maybe that don't know about Matterport why they should consider creating a 3D tour related to their business?
Yeah, we're actually right now we're looking to create some tutorial videos in explaining and using those keywords and for Google search as well, for people that are looking for tools or opportunities for their brands or their companies to grow. So we're going to do some videos. We're also going to upload some articles for SEO blogs, that to have that also running. And those are the two ways. And I know it's not the easiest, probably it's going to take some time. So it's kind of the way that you just want to invest, the money that's going to bring you back more money. But I think it's the only way to grow. That's what our conclusion that we just realized.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that you guys are creating content and videos. Just from our personal experience at Open House, content can be kind of a beast, and creating videos that people actually care about and want to watch and are going to search
Right.
for is tricky. But I can't tell you how many times I have talked to people who are now paying subscribers of our product that found us because they Google searched how to add a video to a Matterport tour. And because we had
Right.
created a tutorial and added a transcript to that video that was recognized by Google, they were able to find, oh, Open House has a solution for adding videos to my Matterport tours.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because creating content takes so much time, but and it's hard to see the ROI on spending the time to create that content right out of the gate, but it definitely adds up over time and is for sure probably one of the most effective ways that we have acquired new business on our end, just creating videos and blog posts like you mentioned to improve SEO. So I think that's
Absolutely,
incredible.
yeah. And I think that, putting that creativity into that video is also awesome. This, we're talking on a podcast for, Matterport providers. That's awesome. I mean, a few years ago, that would be unimaginable. So it's just going out there and creating new ways to deliver the message or deliver, this technology. I think that's the way to go for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. One last question I've got for you is, have you tried to, in terms of education and explaining to people the benefits, have you tried to lean on how Matterport or 3D virtual tours improve SEO when you add them to Google Street View? Have you had any experience or luck trying to go that route?
We used a lot of Google Street View in the past, but then I guess they were the clients, at least the ones we had, they just wanted to get away from it a little bit or just have that, it wasn't too relevant for their business. So yeah, we haven't done a lot of work in that side.
Gotcha. That's one thing we've been thinking about and trying to consider more. Sometimes it's hard to get concrete metrics on how advantageous it is to add a virtual tour to Google Street View, but I feel like that is kind of an easy way in to landing new clients, is saying, hey, if you upload a 3D tour to Google Street View, a customer's 2 times more likely to come into your store than they would otherwise. So just was curious to hear what your thoughts were about that.
It's true. But then again, we always say, some customers will say, how would this affect my visibility or my ROI? It's actually pretty up to them in the way that they use the virtual tour or the 360 images or whatever. So we do one part, that's the creation of the content, but then if they had an agency, or sometimes we would act as the agency and just deliver the whole thing, trying to give metrics and all that. But here's another advice. I think you should stick to your own business in the way that if you want to be more specialized in the content creation, just deliver it to a client and then, try to give some tips and all that. But sometimes they would ask you for further information on metrics. And then that's another business. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's interesting because some clients would actually look into that and some others wouldn't. So
yeah, it's interesting because there is for sure a gap between just creating the tour and actually showing or helping the customer derive value from the tour.
Exactly.
It's like if you just give them a Matterport link and say, here you go, here's your tour, a lot of times they're like, well, what the heck are we supposed to do with this? And so I do think it's kind of interesting. You can either stay in your lane and just focus on the 3D tour creation aspect, or if you are looking to provide additional services and expand and grow, I think there's a huge opportunity on the implementation side to make sure that once you create the tour that they're doing everything that they can on their end to get and extract all the value that they can out of the 3D tour. I think a lot of times people just don't know how to do it from what I've seen personally.
It's true. And a tip maybe for that situation is, how are they marketing their current digital content? Because it's no different in that perspective from, a video, corporate video or training video or images that they have for their company. So that's a
Totally.
good question to ask him. How are you guys doing today with your current digital content? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. So the bottom line is there's a lot of opportunities out there, and you just got to kind of pick and choose what you want to go after and where you want to start. I
Absolutely.
think it's really easy to try and be all things for all people, and you see so many opportunities that you can get overwhelmed with.
Yeah.
Where do I even start? How do I even get into this? And so I think, like you said, kind of pick a lane and go after it for a while, and then kind of pull your head out and reassess is a good way to go. But
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Tomas, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us on our podcast, to be a guest. And I think that our listeners will glean a lot of awesome insights from your experience and the things that you said. If anybody wants to reach you after this podcast, what is a good way for them to get in touch with you and ask maybe some additional follow-up questions?
Sure. So our website is virtual3dstudios.com. Our Instagram is at virtual3d. So you guys want to reach out, free to talk and discuss some more. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, go give Tomas a follow, Virtual 3D Studios,
Yeah.
and reach out if you've got any questions at all. So thanks so much, Tomas, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.